Then the next level of a full spectrum leader is to actually have consciousness around change, adaptability, and innovation.
And as you are interacting with various leaders in your, coaching sessions, and you have met leaders across the decades, what do you think as the purpose has evolved from most of? Are there any themes you can see the purpose changing from leaders' point of view?
Yeah, but it starts with the leader. It always starts with the leader, leaders have to, they have to develop self-awareness before they can lead an organisation, whether it's profit for purpose, not for profit, or full commercial. I mean by that, that they themselves have to have higher levels of consciousness and across the whole spectrum. So, a leader has to, if you think at the bottom, Barrett model, which is around survival, they have to be able to be a crisis manager. And let's take, our current premier. If you look at his huge popularity, it comes from playing at the survival level around keeping people safe.
Yeah.
But that's the bottom level. As a leader, you actually have to be able to do more. Leaders then have to have consciousness around, relationships of their people. They have to have consciousness around, and that's being a relationship leader. They have to have consciousness around whatever it is the organisation is doing it really well. So that's a performance manager. Then the next level of a full spectrum leader is to actually have consciousness around change, adaptability, and innovation. And then, leader has to have consciousness around integrity, being within integrity with themselves and letting go of all the things that, we normally fear, which is a authentic leader. And at the very top is being a visionary leader.
Yeah.
And so if you want your organisation to be long-term and sustainable, you need leaders who have full spectrum consciousness and can move between the levels as needed for the organisation.
Yeah, very powerful. And I think we have covered purpose at multiple levels, and thanks for sharing the Barrett's and the 7 levels of consciousness to explain most of these scenarios, what you explained today. Before we conclude the conversation, could you talk a bit more on if somebody is sitting by themselves today and listening to us, if they want to think about their purpose, what are the first 2 questions or 3 questions they need to answer?
What are the 3 questions they need to answer? I always put people who, are a bit suspicious around what purpose means. I show them, I'll give them a link to some of Simon Sinek's videos. It starts with why. And it so clearly explains, most people live their lives on the how and what rather than, as he calls it, the why. And so the first thing I say to people is, actually, what gets you out of bed every morning with a smile on your dial? And most people will say, oh, the alarm clock, or, I've got to get to work on time. And sort of keep on playing with that question. What would it be that you'd want to jump out of bed and, go to wherever you're going with a sense of energy and enthusiasm? So that it's really painting a picture for people. It could be different.
Lovely.
If you connect and find your purpose.
Thank you. And the last one, which I want to conclude on, what's the one thing, a book or a person, somebody who has inspired you?
I'd have to actually say it started with Professor Jim Collins and Good to Great and Built to Last, because I suppose for me, he what he did was study, I think it was 12 companies in global sort of companies, including Wells Fargo and General Electric, and look at what made them really great. And it always started with, he called it a leader who was a can't remember, but the leader who, when things went right, would look out the window. When things went wrong, would look at the mirror. I think he called them a level 5 leader, I think he called them. And how, the organisations are great. He called it the hedgehog principle, when what they do, what people want, and why they do it is at the heart of great organisations. So he would be the one that sort of opened that door for me. And then person who's been amazing and really helped me on my journey is a lady called Lisa Doig from Corporate Evolution, and just the learnings I've had from her.
Lovely. Thank you, John.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.